In yesterday's update, we had two local levels that we wanted to focus on. The first one was below us, which was a daily open, and then the second one was above us, $119,500. And I was interested in trading both of these levels, so open a long position down there and potentially also open a short position up there. Now, if we go over to the charts, as you can see, unfortunately, before getting that drop, we failed to reach my resistance level. So personally, what did I do? Well, this one was extremely simple. I waited for the daily open, okay? So we had hit the daily open and bounced, as you can see with this candle. However, this was a very ugly candle, so I did want to see one more low, as outlined right there on the chart. So I just waited. We finally got one more low. However, when we got it, I didn't see anything on the charts, which is why I didn't want to open a long position, simply because price was acting a bit slow and choppy. So again, in my view, it wasn't the best long position. And in the end, this was the right decision because we simply continued on dropping lower. And finally, if you go over to the charts, well, this move ended up offering a much bigger drop to the downside, and we have now taken out the range lows. So with all of that said, unfortunate that we didn't reach my resistance. This would have offered a very nice short position in my opinion. But again, we are seeing a drop to the downside. And is there any trades that we can look for? Well, for those of you that have been watching our updates for a while, you know that I've had this support level, $113,300 outlined for, I would say, over 2 weeks now. And with that said, I am looking for just one scenario on Bitcoin. And very quickly, what's this level? Well, it's very simply a 4-hour imbalance. It's the midpoint of this 12-hour imbalance, and it's also just below the midpoint of this daily imbalance. And also, finally, on the 1 hour, we have an order block right there. So that's why this level does look pretty interesting to me. And also, psychologically speaking, I think that a lot of people will be waiting for the retest of the old all-time high, which was $112,000, to then open a long position. In my opinion, this is a very obvious trade, which is why I wouldn't like to get it. And that's why this level is much more interesting, okay? It's not a crowded trade. It's not an easy trade to take in my opinion. And again, a lot of people will be waiting for the very simple retest of the old all-time high. So with this in mind, the one and only scenario that I want to look for next on Bitcoin would simply be a drop to this level. And then if we see a good reaction, then I will open a long position for a reversal to the upside. Okay, and honestly, that was mainly it for Bitcoin. I do want to keep it extremely simple. I have one support level. I do have to say that if we lose it, in my opinion, it would be a big sign of weakness, and then I will not be interested in any long positions. Now, on the other hand, if I'm wrong and we get something like this, so for example, we do get the retest of the old all-time high, then I can simply wait for a sign of strength, which will be a big bounce. And in this case, I will wait for retracement to then open a long position for a move higher in the chart. Okay, but for now, again, below this support level, $113,300, for me, I will not be interested in any long positions. Now, with that said, we do have two other very big coins that are heading into massive support levels. The first one is, of course, Ethereum. Now, if I go on this chart, this scenario was shared on the 20th of July, so that was 2 weeks ago now. And what is this support area? Well, I can now remove this. Okay, let me remove this scenario. And if you go on the daily, well, it's very simple. We have a daily imbalance there that I want to see filled. And as you can see, with this move to the downside, we now have a partial fill. So in my opinion, it is extremely likely and would actually be the best scenario for Ethereum to come down, fill this daily imbalance, and then reverse to the upside. Because if we move up from here and we leave this partially filled imbalance behind, then in my opinion, it does become very likely that we will simply see another move lower to again fill this imbalance. So that's why for Ethereum, the best scenario would be to drop, fill this imbalance, and then reverse to the upside. And again, extremely simple for this coin as well. Just like on Bitcoin, I have one support area. Let's call it from 3,365 all the way up towards 3,480. In my opinion, the top part of this area is enough to offer support, so I don't think that we'll get a deep drop into it. My view right here would be that we get a shallow drop into this area just to fill this candle and then reverse to the upside. And finally, I do want to talk about Solana because this coin as well is heading into massive support. If I go on the weekly, you have a weekly imbalance right there. On the 3-day, it's a 3-day imbalance and an order block. On the daily, it's a daily imbalance. And then on the 12-hour, we have a 12-hour imbalance right there. So again, on Solana, you have one support from 161, let's call it, to 164. I think this will be a huge area. So just like Bitcoin and just like Ethereum, I would like to see one more drop into the support area to then see a reversal to the upside. Okay, so with all of that said, that was mainly it for this update. I want to keep it extremely simple because it is. On Solana, we have one support which is getting reached. On Ethereum, we have also a support which is getting reached. And you can see right there, actually now we have a 12-hour imbalance, which is perfect. And finally on Bitcoin, we are also dropping, we are reaching support. So when you put all of this in context, that's why this support below $113,300 is a massive one. And I will be interested in long positions if we get the right reactions as usual. So with all of this in mind, if you guys enjoyed this update, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.